What is up, guys, and welcome to another episode of my HLTV Fantasy. Today we are looking at IEM Rio 2024. In the last event, 3 players doing very well, 2 players not so well. At least they're the cheaper guys. So Flames was very good this event. IEM was very good. all good. So decent rank, not even close to enough points to make up for all of the points I've lost in the earlier stages, but we move, we go to another event and try and do as well as we can. Rio actually pretty interesting in my opinion, mostly. There's some interesting matchups, a good selection of teams, like a lot of the top teams are present at this event. I would say a lot of the top teams. There's here, so like 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 is not here, but 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Almost all of the top 10 teams. 2 of them missing. So a pretty good selection of teams. Let's go matchup by matchups and look at how I expect the event to go. Group A, Na'Vi should beat Imperial. Pretty much just expect Na'Vi to at least make the upper finals here. Liquid and Complexity is a pretty 50-50 matchup. Complexity has sometimes shown good things, but I would say Liquid is favored. Liquid has been more consistent and I would say have shown a higher ceiling as well, but it could go either way, this kind of NA grudge match. But I would say Na'Vi beats either team in the upper semis if it comes to that. In the lower bracket, FaZe, I mean, they did pretty well in the last event, but apart from that, I still am not that convinced in them. They still should beat Furia every time here. Of course, best of 1 starts, so anything can happen in those, but I would say FaZe is still favored here. And then Mouse versus Pain. Pretty interesting. I think Mouse is still favored. I still have some credit for them. The problematic part is that they haven't even been that decent in group stages lately. So like last few events I've picked them, they haven't been too hot. I still expect them to beat Pain. I still think they're actually a decent pick for this event because of their history of doing well in group stages. And I believe this is only for group stages. Yes, so you would expect them to make upper finals, but they could also lose to FaZe here. They could even lose to Pain, of course, and Pain best of 1. So it's a risky pick, maybe. Group B, Vitality 9Z. Vitality is very much so favored, but 9Z could put up pretty decent numbers in, like, they're a pretty decent team and a best of 1 again, so who knows. But I still think Vitality favored. Virtus Pro versus Mongols, pretty interesting matchup. I think Mongols nowadays slightly favored, but VP is not a bad team, of course, and if they happen to have a good day, they can beat Mongols as well. I still think Mongols is favored, though. But I wouldn't pick either of these teams. Eternal Fire Astralis, kind of interesting. So Astralis, of course, with this new lineup. Eternal Fire having done pretty well in the past few events. I would say Eternal Fire is favored, but I wouldn't be too shocked if Astralis beat them in a best of 1, especially. And then G2 versus Heroic. I would say G2 pretty clear favorites, based on winning the last event, based on doing also pretty well lately. If Nico can put up these numbers or continue to put up these numbers alongside m0NESY and Malbs, especially those 3, the sky's the limit for this team. And yeah, Heroic haven't been that impressive lately, so I would say G2 should also make upper finals. So I mean, the big 4 teams in Na'Vi and Na'Vi, or big 3 at least in Na'Vi, Vitality, and G2 should make upper finals. And then Mouse or FaZe should also make the upper finals. The pricing this event is pretty interesting because actually they've made, for example, these Na'Vi players a fair amount more expensive. So it's not that easy to just go double Na'Vi, double Vitality, and a filler player. Like, you definitely have some decent options at different prices. For example, I would say Wonderful and maybe JL. Slightly more expensive players for Na'Vi are pretty good. even EMEA 213 can be okay. Alexi is still fine as a pick, and I believe he's the most picked player in the event. Yup, by a very long shot as well. It's interesting. I wouldn't have expected this many players to be picking him, but yeah, he's a very good pick. And then Bit, I would say slightly on the expensive side for this, especially when it comes to group stages. He sometimes doesn't show up as much. But I mean, he's an option, I guess. For G2, Snacks as a budget enabler. I'm not too unhappy to go with him if you want to go with him. They have a matchup that I see as a pretty easy one for the best of one, to be honest. I think Heroic can do stuff, but I would still expect G2 to win that best of one most of the time, and Snacks to get like a 1.0-ish rating. And then he can also use the new chicken booster on him later on if you want. So I think it's a decent pick. Nico has been showing up so much lately. I think almost everyone out of G2 is an okay option here. If you can fit them into your budget is the question, right? Like Malbs as well. Really high ratings lately. 213k is pretty decent price for a player of his potential output. From Vitality, I would say Binks and Messi probably I wouldn't go for. Apex is also slightly overpriced. I think Flames is actually the most fairly priced player. Zaiwu is an option, but just very hard to fit into a team with that kind of price. Mouse, if you want to kind of gamble, which I'm probably gonna go towards just because I do want to take a slight gamble on a team, and I think Mouse is one of those teams that is a decent gamble here. It's just that the FaZe matchup is pretty tough, and then Navi matchup as well. Like, there's the potential to really farm points is pretty low. So well, I'll have to see how it works out. But the thing is that their prices are now a bit more on the fair side. Like Brolan at under 200k, Torji at under 210, Suhei even at 182 is an option, and Jimmy at 217 is honestly a pretty nice price point if you have the money for it. I think everyone on Mouse is now at a very fair price. But you could also say that for FaZe. It's like if you believe that this FaZe performance in the last event is indicative of what's to come for them, I'm not mad at you for picking FaZe, of course. Like, we know that the potential of this lineup is huge. Someone like Roki at 208k is very decent. Rain at 203, Harrigan at 179, of course, as a filler. Props at 209, also decent. Frozen at 220 is a bit on the expensive side, but of course also an option. Like, this is what makes this event very interesting to me, is that I feel like they've nailed the pricing in a way where you have to actually make decisions about which teams you want to go for, because like Xantares at 220k is just a very enticing option, I would say. Liquid players, I'm not too high on them now based on the last event. They are pretty cheap. For example, JKS I think at 191, but I don't know if I want to go with that. I think I'm gonna dodge Liquid this event. And then every team underneath here, like, we have some decent picks, like Elijah at 216 if you expect Complexity to do well. But the problem is Liquid first round, and even if they win, then it's Navi next round. Like, it's not gonna be easy. And yeah, most of these teams I'm just expecting to lose their first games. So let's try and build something. I think I need to just pick teams that I want to pick from. I think I also don't want to go for the most popular picks. Malbs at 213 though might be too good to ignore if I want to go lower bracket G2. But I could actually be interested in a Xantares major lineup. I feel like this combo can be worth it. Just depends on what we think G2 is gonna be like in this event. I think I want to go for G2 though. I think I have this thought in my head that they are gonna actually go like 3-0 in groups here. I'm not sure if they're gonna do well in playoffs, but I think they're at least making upper finals. And I think between like doubling up on G2 or doubling up on Vitality, but doubling up I guess these two are actually more picked. So maybe it's correct then to double up on Vitality. Then it's definitely Flames and one of these guys. And I might just want to go for the double Navi angle here as well. And then maybe like Shuhei as a filler 5th. I just think Shuhei does have enough potential upside in comparison to someone like Carrigan that it's more worth it. And I would say it's still a slightly easier first matchup, potentially. If I want to go double Navi, I think it's always going to be Alexi B and I think Wonderful out of these picks. And then if I want to go Flames, I guess it's Apex. This isn't too great money-wise, but you could go Bit. You don't quite have the money for Mezzi, it's like 1k off. I would like Mezzi more than Apex, I guess. If you go Ime, you can go Mezzi. I do like Ime in group stages as well, though. Might just be this. It's a very standard-ish lineup, to be honest, but then again, yeah, it actually has only players from the most picked players. I want to go for something a bit different. I definitely want to go double Navi, though. I just think double Navi, I think, is gonna... Double Navi is gonna probably go at least upper finals. I think it's most likely upper finals out of all these teams. So maybe it is just Alexi Ime. I don't think there's a lineup like this. No. There's no one that cheap. I think Flames is just a very solid pick, though. Maybe it's like Flames and then double G. Can you do that? No, like this at least. 5k missing. If you do this, what do you have money for? Kind of a lot of things, actually. 208k is a very nice price point. You can go for Torji or Brokey. I think I still like Torji more personally. This is not a bad lineup at all. You know what? I kind of like this lineup. Ignore the Vitality players for this event. Get the G2 guys in, Navi guys in, Torji in. Torji is usually so good in like group stages. Let's see how the boosters and rolls work out. I think headshots on Malps is just very good. Yeah, should be. Actually, entry is better for him than... I suppose. Entry on Malps. Yeah, now this becomes the question of like, of course, support on Alexi probably, and then Snacks IGL or could be eco-friendly. I guess I go like eco-friendly. Could go noob, but I think it's eco-friendly here. Porsche 39.44. I believe this is a better multi-fragger. I guess we'll go for that. And then Ime probably on IGL. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, rolls are fine. And then, I mean, best of ones. So boosters, it's just group stage. So what do we get? 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. 11, 13, 15 boosters used. Almost all of them. Just don't use any of the really the worst boosters. Like Rambo you shouldn't use here, and then I guess you. But yeah, KSD we can use here. I expect this to be the easiest matchup for like a Malbs. Just use some decent boosters, but not the best ones, I suppose, is the to go with. Like Kobe for Alexei, sure. Aimbot's probably Malbs later, yeah. Saver might not be cool, that's for later. I guess this is fine. Sure. Yeah, we can do this. Then for Ime, decent, but good. This is the problem with Ime, like he does kind of everything. I guess Pistol's one of his best ones. Can do that. We can throw Pistol on. Let's just do it. That's the lineup. Yeah, I didn't even think of this lineup before I went into it, but I kind of like it. I think the Snacks plus Malbs is kind of similar to Apex plus Flames. I do want to still go for double Navi just because of my allegiance to Navi. As a Navi fan, I want to see them do good. I want to see Alexei do good. I want to watch the games and feel like, okay, I want to root for this team. So that's part of my decision, but also they are still the best team in the world, and they have a route to the upper finals that they should get to. They are a bit on the expensive side, but I think I'm just not comfortable enough, I think, in some of the players here. Like, I don't know. I think Torji is one of those options that's usually gonna do very well in group stages. So that's why I'm going for him. And there's just so many tough matchups here, like VP on goals. I wouldn't ever want to call who wins that. Eternal Fire Astralis even is pretty tough to call. Vitality is like the one team I'm kind of afraid of not having, because I feel like they could definitely really dumpster 9Z, and they could definitely easily beat one of these teams, and they are still favored in any matchup against any of these teams in the upper finals. So it's a bit of a fear of mine that they're gonna do very well, but I think this draft is just a bit too strong to ignore. Like, the option would be to go for, I guess, Apex instead of Snacks, but that's like 15k more. That's a very big difference. And then Flames here, like, then you'd have to definitely make some big sacrifices here, and I don't think it's worth it. And this is gonna be a potential chicken booster for Snacks against the Vitality, for example, in upper finals if they make it there. But yeah, that's my lineup. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you do and you enjoy this kind of content, please remember to leave a like and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.